I appreciate the opportunity here today, and I thank you for holding this important hearing on USDA research programs, especially when we approach the reauthorization of the Farm Bill. And to you, Madam Undersecretary, thank you. Thanks for your leadership, and thanks for being here today and your testimony. So I'm a proud fourth-generation farmer of southern Minnesota and a product of the University of Minnesota, our state's land-grant university. Go Gophers. And I understand the importance of strong investment in ag research through both the Ag Research Service and the National Institute for Food and Agriculture. Investments in ag research result in direct value for our farmers in rural communities. And as a farmer, I see it firsthand. Farm and food security really is our national security. And it's so important that we link those areas together. And as we write, that's really why we must write and pass a strong farm bill to help our farmers to continue to compete on a global stage and really feed and fuel the world for years to come. So on that note, when we talk about our job as farmers and as folks involved in agriculture to feed and fuel the world, we just have to look at some recent data. Last November, the world population reached 8 billion.
Yep.
And from the Green Revolution, from Norman Borlaug, from all of the advancements that we've seen to most recently self-driving tractors, which my kids love the idea of, by the way. My father, not so much, but on our farm we've adapted to a lot of those technologies, and really our 112 land-grant universities have played a critical role in that. And as we look at the future and more cutting-edge technology needed to secure our domestic and global food supply throughout America's history, we really look to those land-grant universities as partners in that. But with that being said, all farmers should have the freedom to utilize practices that work on their operation. What works for me doesn't work in Illinois. What works for me doesn't even work in northern Minnesota. And so we can't put all our eggs in one basket. So for instance, America can't rely solely on rooftop gardens. Mm-hmm. We can't rely solely on organic agriculture. It needs to be an all-of-the-above strategy. And that's really what will allow us to remain the breadbasket for the world. So, Madam Undersecretary, how can we ensure that competitive grants provided by NEFA to land-grant universities, land-grant organizations, prioritize the needs of on-the-ground production agriculture that will really help us spur the next green revolution, which will enhance productivity and profitability while meeting the needs of a growing population?
Thank you, and yes to everything you said. And that's why, at USDA, we're really working very hard to have local-led, voluntary-based, incentive-based, opportunities. I think about the way we're distributed across the country. We're in every county. We recognize that there's not one size that fits all, and so that's why we have that decentralized approach. We're really working to build a system that has opportunities for all, so that fourth generation and the fifth generation and the sixth generation really has something to come back to. And so how do we help all farmers be more resilient? And the only way we know that is being on the ground, talking to the farmers about what's important to them. We have set up climate hubs across the country. And those climate hubs are taking all of the science and peer-reviewed journal papers that we produce, and I know ARS does some 300 to 400 climate science papers a year. I don't expect a producer to read those papers, but we have people in the climate hubs who are trained to take that information and translate it into digestible bites for producers to know exactly what works for their farming production based on their variables. That's very important. We have long-term agro-ecosystem research network sites, 18 across the country, where producers are brought in to practice some of those things like crop rotation, like no-till, to really de-risk some of that, because adoption is really where we find most of the challenges that we deal with. We have great suggestions, great guidance, even in the nutrition space. I know what I need to do to lose weight. How do we get people to do and follow the guidance that we give?
Yeah, thank you for that. And I will just add maybe a couple thoughts here as I close out my time. But I will tell you, as a farmer and someone that works with and beside farmers day in, day out, we are the best environmentalists that we have in this country. I cannot risk my backyard, my fields, to the next generation if I'm not taking care of it and leave it better than I found it. So I think that the more we can allow producers opportunities and flexibilities, the more we can decentralize programs. The next Farm Bill has to be for farmers, by farmers. It can't be for DC, by DC. And these programs have to relate to the backyard of the people that we're trying to serve. So I appreciate your comments and look forward to working with you in the future.